The years-long wait is finally over. John Bones Jones is taking on Stipe Miocic in the main event of UFC 309 tonight at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. It truly does not get bigger than this. Co-main event, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira, former lightweight champion, taking on Iron Michael Chandler in the co-main event. Bo Nickel, Paul Craig in the third fight from the top. This one is great, but let's get in to the main event to start it off. This one was supposed to take place last year at UFC 295. We know how that played out. Alex stepped in to face Yuri, knocked him out, as he always does. But this time, it's Jon Jones, the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time, taking on the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. Jones, 15 title wins, 14 at light heavyweight. He has one at heavyweight, beats Ciryl Gane when he last fought back in March of 2023. Stipe, the last time we saw him, he lost in March of 2021 when he got brutally knocked out by Francis Ngannou. Stipe's ranked 8th in the heavyweight division. That's just because he hasn't been as active as maybe he would have liked or we would have liked at this point. But John is a very heavy favorite in this fight. Minus 625. Stipe, I see it at plus 455 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And to be honest, when I first saw this line, it was a little higher. It's gone down a little bit since it first opened, but I was surprised because I think Stipe is getting disrespected. Stipe Miocic is the best heavyweight in UFC history, the best champion to ever grace that octagon at the 265-pound limit, the heaviest class in the UFC. He's that good. 6 title wins, the most in history, most defenses, 3. And if he wins this, he would join Randy Couture as the only 3-time champion in UFC history, because we know Stipe had his first reign, then he got knocked out by DC, then he beat DC and then lost to Ngannou. So this would really cement Stipe not only at the top of the all-time heavyweights, which he already is in the UFC, but there's an argument if Stipe could get this victory here tonight at MSG that he could be regarded as one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Jon Jones, yes, he had the Matt Hamill loss, the 12-6 elbow. Now you can use 12-6 elbows, so it's different. But Jon has never been beat by a judge's scorecard, by being finished versus another opponent. So it really would be a crowning achievement for Stipe, even though Jon isn't the same Jon he was at light heavyweight. He's shown weakness. He's not the same guy at the first part of his career when he was dominating, and it was just a terrifying opponent for any competitor standing across from him. He's shown weakness. Not in his last fight against Ciryl Gane. He beat him in 2 minutes. That was very impressive, but we know Ciryl Gane isn't talented on the ground. Stipe is better on the ground. Stipe could present Jon with some issues there. So I really think this is a great fight. I don't think it's between the two best heavyweights right now, because I think, in my humble opinion, that Tom Aspinall, the interim champion, is the best heavyweight. It's just that simple. He's just so dominant. He finishes all his opponents. He does it in spectacular fashion. He always lives up to the moment. But he weighed in as the backup fighter for this. Dana said he's next for either one of these guys. The winner of this wants to face him next, or they'll put together a new match. But my biggest thing that I'm confident in this is the over-under in rounds for this is 2.5. I think this is going to go over. I think this is going to go into the championship rounds. I really do. Just because Stipe, although he was knocked out by Francis, Jon doesn't have Francis power, and I just don't think Jon's going to be able to finish Stipe if he gets him on the ground. I think he's going to struggle to take him down early, but I do, if I had to lean, I would lean that Jon wins this fight. Obviously, on the money line, it's not great value, but don't be shocked if Stipe Miocic comes out of Madison Square Garden as the second 3-time champion in UFC history and has a fairy tale ending maybe, because the winner or the loser of this fight could very well retire after this fight, and this could be their last time that everybody sees them. But the co-main event, as great as the main event is, the co-main event is just as fascinating. Like I said, it's the former lightweight champion Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira taking on Iron Michael Chandler. Last night it was Iron Mike Tyson. This time it's Michael Chandler. He's returning after 2 years away to the week when he lost to Dustin Poirier at MSG. He's only in big fights. He always puts on a show. That's what people love about Michael Chandler. He's ranked 7 right now in the lightweight division because of his inactivity. Charles is ranked 2. Dana has said that this is a number 1 contender fight. The winner of this will fight the winner of Arman Tsarukyan versus Islam Makhachev, the champion. They're supposed to fight at the beginning of the year, so the middle backhand half of 2025, we could see and we likely will see the winner of this fight. But if I had to give one bet that I'm most confident in and one pick I'm most confident in of this entire card, it is Iron Michael Chandler to get the job done, to beat Charles Oliveira, to do what he was supposed to do back a couple years ago in 2021 when he was seconds away from knocking him out and he let that victory slip through his hands. Oliveira got the finish earlier in the second round after Chandler 10-8'd him in the first round. But I think that Chandler has all of the advantages over Oliveira. Oliveira is a great submission artist, but Chandler can excel on the ground too. Chandler has more power. Oliveira does too. But I believe that this is Chandler's moment. Chandler has had an up and down career. He's 38 years old, the former Bellator champion, and he really needs this fight. His record in the UFC hasn't been pretty as of late. We know he's lost to Dustin Poirier. He lost to Justin Gaethje, and if he loses this fight, he falls to 2-4 in the UFC. He can't let that happen. The loser of this fight's title, dreams, and hopes are likely done for the rest of their career. It's do or die. I got Michael Chandler to knock out Charles Oliveira. I didn't like the way Charles looked against Arman Tsarukyan at UFC 300. I know Chandler's been out for a while, but for a veteran of that caliber, I don't believe in ring rust. The third fight from the top, it's Bo Nickel, the 3-time NCAA National Wrestling Champion, the multiple-time Big Ten champion, one of the best prospects we've ever seen in the UFC. It's Bo Nickel, the pride of Penn State, taking on the Bear Jew, Paul Craig, the pride of Scotland. Paul Craig's the bigger guy by 2 inches, but Paul Craig is a heavy underdog. Every time I looked throughout this fight week, first I saw Bo Nickel minus 1,000, then minus 1,100, then minus 1,200. Now, minus 1,450 for Bo Nickel. That is just insane. Paul Craig plus 850. I think that Bo Nickel is too big of a favorite. I'll say that. I think Bo Nickel is unbelievable. He's the younger guy by 8 years, but Paul Craig has knockout power. He's good off his back. He submitted people. He beat former champion Jamal Hill. He hasn't excelled at middleweight, but I think this could go in the second, third round. But I think Bo Nickel still finishes them. I'm going to say Bo Nickel finishes Paul Craig in the second round. I'm not going to say by submission or by knockout. I think either or will do the job. But overall, this card is good. The first 3 fights are the last 3 fights are the ones you want to be keeping your eye on. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.